Come on, come on, come on. Good evening. What time are we on? 20:30, okay. 4 viewers, yummy. Evening, guys, how we doing? Sorry, I'm a bit, I'm a bit flustered. I've literally just legged it in, realised the time, set up my computer. So I've not even got anything set up. Yeah, busy. Just literally. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Danny. How are we doing? I've literally just got in from. We're renovating a house, my new home, which is very exciting. But I've just in the middle of wedding season decided to renovate a whole house, which was a clever idea. So I'm spending every waking hour working there and painting and all sorts. But the exciting news for you guys is that I get a new office and you get to see my new office. I'm excited about my new office, and it's got me thinking a lot recently about my workflow and my setup and my environment in which I work in. So I'm looking forward to playing with that space and understanding how changing that environment might help my mindset and my workflow. And then I'm going to do like an office video and share my setups and an office tour kind of thing. So hopefully soon, next few weeks. Evening, Ben. Lammy, all right. Thanks for joining on, Chris. Finally made it on time. Good to see you. Yes, Brazil. Wow, as far as Brazil. Hi, mate. I'm glad you could make it. And every time I do one, you, I get a message from you saying I can't believe I missed it. So I'm glad you're here. Right. Yeah, I'll settle in now. I've got my coffee. I'll be all right. I'm gonna load up and edit. If you've got any questions, fire them away. Essentially, I'm just going to do a bit of work. I'm totally unprepared. And totally unprepared tonight and not got anything ready, but I'm going to load and edit. So I need to finish off now and work on that. But essentially, this time is for any questions that you guys have, and I'll try and answer them as best I can, or any questions you want to have about the industry, about editing, filmmaking, business, etc. Wi-Fi seems to be struggling a bit tonight. Do 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 do. Not sure if anyone's having trouble with the connection, but it seems to be a bit iffy. For some reason. I doubt it. Hey dude, Brian, hey mate, how are we doing? Hi guys, thanks for joining on. It's not. I don't think I've in the last few weeks I've been accidentally streaming across 2 different streams. and it's been a nightmare, but I don't think that's the case tonight. I think I've managed to sort it, so welcome. What am I doing here? If this is your first live stream that you've seen me do, they're very raw and unprofessional. I'm very sorry. I doubt it. How do you shoot a ceremony on only a 50mm? Don't you struggle with your shots not being tight enough? So I shoot a ceremony on a 55mm on the camera that's with me at all times, and then I have a wide camera on my B cam, which is static somewhere, and that's got a wide lens on it. So I shoot the ceremonies and the speeches and stuff from 2 angles. The wide one is just a safe kind of coverage shot, but with me is always the 55mm. And do I worry about it not being tight enough? No, because with the Sony cameras I can crop in APS-C mode and crop in 1.5 times, so the 55 becomes, I think the maths it would work out about an 82mm, but essentially 85, which is plenty tight enough. So if it's a big space and I want to get tighter, but I can't move closer or I don't want to be obtrusive, I can crop in. But generally, no, I don't. I just I always try with my front camera to film them from at least like the waist up, so that way, you know, I've got my wide shot at the back where you can see the full body. I don't want full body, but waist up means you can see when they're doing the ring exchange. You can see them exchanging the rings, and it's not just like from here to here, because when they do the rings, you're not going to see the hands and everything. So I do find that the 55 is quite a nice focal length for that, and it's dual cropping. Am I still using the monopod without the fluid head? Yes, I don't have a head on the monopod. I just have a little quick release plate that I screw onto it. Screw the quick release plate on, have the other end on my camera, and I can just clip it in and off dead easily. Fluid head. Reason being, I just screw the camera straight onto the monopod, and I just film statically. I mean, most of the time now I'm filming handheld for most of the day, so any kind of panning movement, I don't do any of that. I just hold the camera still, hit record, and let the action happen in front of the lens. So people dancing, all the movement should be happening in the scene. In my personal opinion, that's why I don't use gimbals, and the fluid head is just cumbersome and big and heavy, and like the monopod is half the weight without it, and a lot more discreet and unobtrusive, which I know isn't the, like, I'm not trying to push everyone to be discreet and unobtrusive. You've got to do you and find what works best for you, but that's an approach that works well for me, and I can communicate it to the couple well, because I can sell to them the fact that none of the guests are gonna know that there's a video. They're not gonna feel smart on Amazon the other day just arrived. Right, I'm just re-importing all my footage, if you can see what I'm doing on the screen there. This is an edit that I finished the film. They just booked a highlights film, and I finished it and sent it, and then they came back saying, we love it, can we now have the longer one? So they upgraded their film. Which was awesome. So I'm having to load it back in, re-import the footage, and create a long film. But it's good. Yeah, they upgraded, which is it's a nice thing, because obviously they get the film. The sent back to their wedding day straight away, and they watch it and they're like, oh my god, that was amazing, and they want to see more, so they get in touch and upgrade, and I make sure that they know there's an option to do that. Right, even Adam and chat, hope you, AJ, hope you well, mate. Yeah, so this is a teardrop jewel that I got on Amazon. Essentially, it's another kind of prism that I saw a photographer using at the weekend, and I had a play with his, and I really liked it. So just stick that right in front of you. I've just got a lens here, but you stick this right in front of your lens, shoot through it on a wide open aperture, and you'll get loads of nice light refracted light, pretty sparkly stuff. I'm gonna have a play with that. Teardrop jewel prism, something like that, on Amazon, 4 or 5 quid. Greetings from Bulgaria. Wow, we've got Brazil and Bulgaria. Where in, like, anyone from other countries around the world, let me know. That's amazing. Can I ask you, I see that you use the Sony mic, or the same one, which is better to put on the groom pocket or stick to the speech microphone? Do you use it with the DJ mixer? Okay, so the Sony TX650 mics that I use, the recorders should I say, I clip them into the groom's pockets. I will tape them to microphones or microphone stands or lecterns in a church. They're the only recorders that I use, so I'll clip them into jacket pockets, I'll tape them to things, put them on tables. I'll use a bit of electrical tape to wrap them around, or a bit of double-sided Velcro or something. And do you use the recorder with the DJ mixer? No, you can't plug them into a DJ mixer. You can't get a feed off a desk with them. That's the only downside. So I do in my bag have a Zoom H1 so that I can get a feed if that's ever an option. I tend not to bother unless it tends to be with high-end weddings where there's a planner and they have a proper like sound team, or you know, they normally have at big weddings they'll have a sound engineer or a sound technician who I can just go, can I get a feed off you? You know, they're in charge of the audio, they're in charge of providing mics and stuff for the speeches, so I can just say, can I give you this recorder and get a feed off you, and he'll know what to do, because I don't, basically. But if they're not there, then, which is the case most, like 90% of the time, there's not someone like that, so I just use the Sony recorders. Yeah, hope that answers your question, Ivalio from Bulgaria. Can you crop in APS-C mode while recording, or do you have to stop rolling to do that? Yeah, you can't. It doesn't. You can't crop whilst recording, which is a shame. But no, you can't do that. So you'd have to stop recording, change your crop. But I try to make that decision beforehand, before the ceremony. I'll commit to one or the other, because I don't want to be stopping starting all the way through. I record continuously throughout so that I can multicam it easier. Did you ever use movement in your videos? Has your style changed much from when you started? Yeah, did I ever use movement in my videos? Yes. The first 4, 5 films that I shot purely, yeah, like the first 5 weddings that I shot, I would say 99% of the time I was on a Ronin M DJI Ronin M gimbal that I hired. I didn't buy it because it was a lot of money and I had no money to put into the business. It's like a £1,500 gimbal, and so I hired it every time and shot everything on this big gimbal because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. So every single shot was moving. And obviously that was a bit more obtrusive and less discreet, I guess. But I would say, like, has my style changed much? Not really. I'm still the same way I've always been, and my approach to the day is still like very relaxed and chilled out. But the kit I've used is, once I got rid of the gimbal and realised that you didn't have to do it like that, and started shooting with just a monopod or handheld or whatever, I felt much more comfortable. I was in the moment and more present. You know, I could see things going on. I wasn't pissing around with trying to balance this gimbal. I never missed a moment because I was there, and that's the way I am now, and that's the way I prefer to be. And yeah, I think I've come on because of that. But still the same approach. It was relaxed and chilled out then, and it is now, I guess. But no more gimbals, thank God. I second shot for a guy for quite a while, a mate, Stefan from YSD Media, who's a Manchester-based videographer, and he's really good, and he brilliantly took me sort of under his wing, if you will, at the start. Gave me loads of second shooting jobs, and he used the gimbal, and he was like, you need to do it. You need to use this gimbal. And I could never get the thing to focus because he wanted it in manual focus, but I'm holding it like this, and the camera's in the middle, and he wanted me to like focus and hold the gimbal and move all at the same time. I couldn't get the hang of it. I hated it that much that as soon as I realised I didn't have to use it anymore, straight in the bin. I started filming the Philip White way, if you will, because I went on his workshop and just one camera, one lens, monopod. Started doing it like Phil White does it, and didn't shoot that much for Stefan anymore after that. Bless him, but I couldn't get on with the gimbal, and he used to tell me off all the time because none of my footage was any use to him because it wasn't in focus. But so I digress. AJ, if you want to drop me a DM or something, or a message on Insta or whatever, and I'll send you my first. I think I've got my first ever film on this channel as like a reaction video, but I'll send you my first one, just so you can see that we all start somewhere, and my first was probably a lot worse than a lot of people's firsts. People send me their first attempts now, and I'm blown away. Like, they're amazing compared to my first. So yeah. South Africa, North Wales, Danny. Nice one, mate. Yeah, love the Wales. Big up wherever you're from. But South Africa wins. South Africa's cooler than North Wales, no offence. Just booked a wedding for North Wales next year, actually, in Tower Hill Barns, which is near Wrexham, I think. Lovely venue. I'm using an A6500s, and the softness in 1080p is really bad. Should I just sell and get an A7S or A7 III instead? Depends how. If it's bothering you, and if you don't like the softness, who asked that? I doubt it. I doubt it. What's your actual name? Why the I doubt it name? Yeah, if the softness is bothering you, because it depends. Like, it can look kind of filmy if it's a bit softer and a bit, because sometimes I find the A7Ss and the A7 IIIs to be so sharp that I want to add a bit of something in post, like a bit of grain or something, just to soften it up. So, but I know what you're saying. Obviously the A7S2 and the A7 III are superior in terms of specs and stuff. But then ask yourself this: are the couple going to be noticing the softness Are they going to come back and go, it's a little bit, we love the video, but why is it so blurry? Like, they're not, 1080p is still 1080p, are you worried about the softness from your critical personal views, or are you worried about what the couple are going to think? Because if you don't think that they're going to notice, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Your films are only as good as your couple or your clients think they are. Like, I've been thinking a lot about this. I've been listening to too many like philosophical podcasts, I think, but I've been thinking quite a bit about it in the last few days, that we do, like, everyone, myself included, puts too much credence and emphasis on what the rest of the industry thinks, and we pander to that a bit, and we want other wedding videographers to think our work's amazing, but it's the clients that decide whether your work's good or not. Because it's subjective, it's art, it's subjective. What you think might be an amazing cut or an amazing shot, or too soft or too sharp, doesn't matter, because it's the couple that will ultimately tell you whether they like it or not. Does that make sense? I'm Kevin. It's my philosophy channel. Just a name. Yeah. No, it's cool. I like the name. I just didn't want to keep calling you I Doubt It all the time. Right. I'm gonna hold off. Keep getting questions, but I'm rubbish at multitasking, so I'm gonna stop talking for a sec. I'm gonna have a look at this for a minute. Start colour. This needs colour grading, I think. Did I grade it? No, needs grading. Right. Film Tower Hill. Yeah, I love Tower Hill Barns. It's a great venue. Any thoughts to shoot with 3 cameras in the ceremony, shooting by yourself? Good idea, or not worth the extra work? Yeah, I would shoot with 3 cameras by myself. I have done in the past. I don't think it's any. I think you can do it by yourself, no worries. I know people that shoot all the time with 3 cameras and they shoot solo. I've done it in the past. It just means that you'll need to get yourself to the ceremony 5 minutes earlier just to set up another. It's just, my approach would be the same. I'd have 2 static cameras and 1 with me, but you just need to allow yourself a bit of extra time to do it. What I would say is, like, if you've got a 3rd camera, where are you going to put it? And is it going to? Because for me, the ceremony 2's enough for the ceremony, because you've got a down the aisle shot, like a wide shot, and you've got a tight shot, and that might be down the aisle as well, or it might be at the front. Or I don't really like to leave the thought of another camera static somewhere. It would have to be off to the side, and then when people stand up, you just get backs of heads and stuff. You could put it on the readings, I guess, but then if it's static, I wouldn't. I'd want to be able to see it once that it was composed right. I don't know. And again, it's a bit obtuse, but for the speeches, I think a 3rd camera is a good thing, because it would be nice to have. I always have a shot on the speaker, and then my other angle is either a wide angle of the room or a reaction shot on the bride and groom, and I can never make my mind up, and I just decide on the day. But if I had 3 cameras on that, I'd have a wide of the room, a shot on the bride and groom, and a shot on the speaker. So I think for speeches, 3 cams is nice. But it's very rare that I bother to do it without that sounding lazy. Right, I'm just going to put my colour grade, which is like just a preset, and it's just a 1-click drag and drop, so that clip is graded there. Bosh, 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 bosh. It's only a subtle thing. I just bring the blacks down and put a bit of grain on it and stuff, and then I can copy that across all the other clips, and just go zip, and just paste that grade over everything else. these bits here. And my style, if you will, is very laid back, but I do worry that maybe I wouldn't say I'm someone to copy off, because I always worry that I'm too laid back. And I always get the footage on it, so it always goes fine. But sometimes I do think, maybe I'm a bit too laid back. As long as you're getting something from it, that's good. I'm novice, but out of all the training I've researched, your channel has been a doubt, being my number one help. Oh, mate, thank you very much. That's very kind. Yeah, there's not that many wedding videography specific YouTube channels out there, I guess, that I know of at the minute. There's a few in the States, Matt Johnson, etc. But that's because I have a very pragmatic and practical approach to this business and industry and filmmaking and stuff, which I hope is helpful. But like, how can I bring you the most value? And obviously, I know people love the BTSs, the behind the scenes of a wedding day, and I'm always conscious of that, and people just scream out for them all the time. And if I'm being honest, I could take, I could do it at every wedding, but I've got to pay for someone to come and film me, which I do. I have my friend come and film me. But yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't always feel comfortable doing it at every wedding. It depends on the couple, and it depends, like with them being cool for me to be promoting myself and talking on camera whilst filming the wedding. Sometimes I just want to focus on the wedding, so it's the tricky one to. I do want to do as many BTSs as possible because I know you guys like them, but I can't always. So I'm always aware of that, and I've got a wedding coming up soon where I've got a second shooter, and I'm hoping to do a little bit of something with that. So there might be more BTS stuff before the end of the year. I'm sure there will be. But if there's anything else, if you could comment, let me know what kind of videos you want to see or what kind of content you want to see that will help you, whether it be more of these live videos, these Q&As, whether it be more, maybe I could interview other wedding videographers, maybe I could do sort of more kit based videos or business based videos. Just let me know what kind of stuff you want to see the most, so that I can kind of try and help you out as best as possible, because otherwise I'll just keep banging out whatever videos I think are a good topic to talk about on that particular given week. I am on this Friday, hopefully this Friday, I'm going to upload one of my latest wedding films to the channel. But what I'm also going to do is upload a video of me talking over the voiceover, talking over the top of that film, explaining some of the shots and how I got those shots and some of the edit tricks and all the methods that I've used to make that film. I'm going to kind of do a voiceover. I'm going to share the film so you can watch it, and I'm going to do a little voiceover video where I explain certain shots and certain edits and stuff. I thought that might be quite cool, so hopefully that'll go down well, and I could do more of those. It's kind of like a wedding film critique, so if that's something maybe that would be helpful and people would want to see, when that comes out on hopefully Friday, leave me a comment if you liked it and stuff, because that could be interesting and helpful and what have you. Are we back on? Hey, we're back on. Are we back on? Yes, we're back on, I think. So I lose all my viewers. I'm really right. If I am back on and you can hear me, I'm sorry about the connection thing. It must be YouTube, because my connection at my end says it's really good, and I do have pretty good Wi-Fi, so it's very frustrating. But I suppose it's the mercy of technology. It bugs me when stuff like this happens because I feel responsible. So I hope you're still with me. All this is getting recorded though, so if you have lost any, if it's cut out and you've lost any part of it, it'll be, by the end of tonight, it'll be up on the it'll be on the channel, and the whole thing's been recorded, so you can watch back all my waffle. So any parts that you have missed, you'll be able to watch them later on once it's uploaded. Not that I've really got much done in terms of my editing work, but it's nice to chat to you. If there is any questions about exactly what I'm doing right now with this edit, or any sort of editing questions in what I'm doing, fire them away, but I've not really got much done, to be honest. I mentioned this before, but if you weren't tuned in, this film I did, I shared the highlights video, of this film on my channel, and a couple have already seen it, but they booked only the highlights film, and then they saw that, loved it so much that they came straight back and said we want to upgrade to the longer, the 15-minute feature film. So they've upgraded the package, paid the extra, and booked that now. So I always make that available to them and make them aware that even after the wedding and they've received the film, and weeks, months after, if they ever did want to upgrade to the longer film, they can do. In this case, it just plants that seed, and then once they've seen the highlights, of course they love it and they want to see more. In this case, they went ahead and booked the longer film. Streamers crashed. Same back in the room. YouTuber, we are back. Damn YouTube. I know. Sorry guys, YouTube sucks. We've gone again, I think. Oh, have we? Don't know. It must be. It keeps saying I've got an excellent connection, so I don't know what's going on really. It would be great to see a tutorial on how to compose and expose shots the way you achieve your truly cinematic look. Thanks. I'm glad you think it's cinematic. A tutorial on how to compose and expose your shots. Fair enough. I'll have a crack at that. I could do that. I could make a video where I set up some kind of scene, or I'll look into that, because I could. In terms of exposure, I'm always trying to expose for the brightest part of the image. Like, look at my frame. Where's the brightest point? Oh, it's coming from the window. It's overexposed. I'll expose for the brightest point, and then everything else in the image naturally gets darkened, and might end up being silhouetting the bride or something. But that's where you get that kind of cinematic look. So if you've got a blown out window behind you, drop your exposure so that the window's not blown out, and everything else instead is darkened because of that, and that's where you get that kind of cool cinematicness. So that's the general gist, but I could set up a scene and film some examples, maybe get some models in and stuff, set up a shoot, maybe that'd be a good idea. I like that. Yeah, so going back to this couple, they obviously upgraded and booked then the feature film because they were so happy with the short one. But they also added on another add-on that I offer, which is still grabs from the footage. So I'll take a load of, because I shot this particular wedding, I knew they were interested in having the stills, so I shot this in 4K, and then from the 4K footage, you can take real good still frames from that footage and turn them into images. So they've ended up booking a longer film and a load of images. So it's been a good sort of cash cow, this wedding. After the fact, even after the wedding's finished, I've made a few extra quid from it. It's been nice. And it was a really good wedding, to be fair, so I'm glad that they've gone for extra stuff, because I want them to have as much of it as possible. Anyway, back to it. Do you ever struggle with not having enough footage for an upgrade? No, so what I do with that, Kevin, is I always go into each shoot as if it's a feature. Even if they just put the highlights, I'll film it as if it's a feature, so that I've always got plenty of footage and I've got the option. I go into each wedding day knowing that I roughly need about 300 B-roll clips, 250 to 300. Anything else is bonus. But yeah, I tend to get like maybe 80 to 100 clips from like the morning, the bridal preps leading up to the ceremony, and then after the ceremony through the drinks section through to the meal, there's another like 100 clips there, and then I might get 20-30 clips from scenery stuff and just details and venue scenery shots, and then I'll get another 20-30 clips of like couple stuff, and then I'll get like another 30-40 nighttime like party dancing footage, first dance, get loads of clips there, and then I'll get some stills. So I normally have around about 300 clips plus the ceremony plus the speeches. That is enough to make a 15 to 20 minute film, regardless of whether they've booked it or not. I've been wanting to do still grabs from the footage, but I've been unsure how much to charge for it, because I don't want to overcharge when they're already paying for the photographer. Well, that's it. It's like they've already got, most cases they've already got a photographer. So if they want an extra images from you, they've probably already got like 500-600 good images from the photographer. And I do say to them, like, it's not to replace the photography. They should still get photography, because my still grabs are from the footage. And obviously when I've took that shot, I wasn't thinking about a still frame or picture. I was thinking about the video clip. So I've composed it and shot it and framed it with the video in mind. I've not like a photographer will grab a shot as a photo. I've not thought of it like that. So although you can get some nice photos from it sometimes, it shouldn't replace the photography. So I always make sure to tell them that. But in terms of like the work that you're putting into it, you've got to go through all your footage, choose your screen grabs, edit them, colour correct them, whatever you want to do. So that's a fair bit of work. So work out, how much you want to get for, how much you want to charge for your time. But I wouldn't worry about, they've already paid a photographer, so they're not going to pay me extra. Like, if they want to go for it, they'll pay, and if they don't, haven't lost anything. Do I offer upgrade for 4K? I do offer upgrade for 4K, yeah. I charge extra for a 4K upgrade. Unless they're having stills. So if they book the stills, they're unknowingly getting a 4K upgrade for nothing. But if they want a 4K upgrade, I charge extra for. Because obviously, like, you've got to think about more SD cards, more render time. Until it becomes the mainstream, this standard platform standard across like TV and stuff. It's not. I don't think 4K is necessary. But if they want to upgrade to it and future-proof their wedding, I guess, because like it'll last longer into the future and it'll be higher quality for longer, then I'll charge extra, because it's more intensive on my cameras and my memory and hard drive space and all that. but it'll soon become the norm, and I'll just have to do it as a normal thing. And then I guess 8K might be upgrade. Who knows? Who knows? I might be filming holograms and weird stuff. Shooting highest shutter speeds probably helps when taking still grabs. Yeah, it probably does. Yeah, fair point. Never thought about that before. Shoot everything in 200 frames per second from now. No, don't do that. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I shoot most of my stuff in 50 frames a second. I don't worry about the whole shutter speed rule. But yeah, I suppose it does help for images, yeah. This is a still. So I use still images in the films. This here is a still image. That's a still image actually. Still image, still image. And then that's obviously not because it's moving. But I'll take a still and I'll color grade it exactly the same as I would a clip. What picture profile do you mostly use for weddings? McDoog, I have a video that is I have a specific video on my channel. If you search for Sony A7S picture profiles, it'll come up, or Adam Ring picture profiles, or just drop me a message and I'll send it to you. But that details my picture profile. It's got all the settings on there, everything. It's picture profile 1, but I tweak it slightly, but it's all on there. And then also on that video I can go through all my colour grading settings with Film Convert as well. But so check that out basically. What add-ons upgrades do you offer, Ben? So obviously they've got the option of which film they want to go for, the highlights or the long film. They can add on a second shooter if they want, and I said before that this includes drone footage. So if they want drone, they have to book the second shooter package. If they want a second shooter, that's an add-on. So I do the stills, as mentioned, still grabs. What else do I have for 4K upgrade? I've been debating doing like a midnight package where they can add on, like I'll normally stay till like the first dance an hour after, but if they want me to stay the duration of the night for then another 2 or 3 hours, I've been debating having that as an add-on, but I don't offer that currently, but I was thinking about it. Other stuff, there is a couple of other things I offer, and I can't even think of them. I do an express turnaround. Oh, raw footage, obviously. For the raw footage, I've had like 3 couples book that recently. I do express turnaround, so if they want their film delivered, done within like a week of the wedding, they can pay extra. Which is, if sometimes a couple like, oh, we've got a family viewing like next week, or a family party, we want to get everyone around to see the film, and it's like, well, I can turn it around super quick and prioritise it over everyone else's, but it's gonna cost you. Yeah, raw footage, like I said, Instagram style 60-second teasers. Just basically wanted to for that one client a year that has like killer, major budget, and just will, if you had a list of stuff that you have for sale, they just go through and buy the lot. You might get one a year or one every 2 years, but I wanted to have options to increase the high-end price as much as possible. So the option's there if they want it, and if they don't go for it, it doesn't matter. But if they do, then it's what time are we on? 52. Right, I've got like 10 minutes and I need to go. So I've got a lot of questions there, so I'm just going to try and rattle them off as quick as possible. Currently using 24mm and a 50mm Sigma lens to shoot audience. Is there another focal length you think is a must-have? Sean, I use the 24 and a 55mm, so I'm with you on those. The other one I would suggest is the obvious one, an 85. An 85 is an amazing cinematic portrait lens. It's great focal length. I used to shoot with the 85. A lot of people I know shoot with an 85 only. I would say that one, yeah. What are your thoughts on hiring an editor? I admit I'm a little burnt out. Well, mate, aren't we all? Like, the burnout is real. Don't overdo it. Take some time off. The last thing that you want. Burnout can really suck out the enjoyment and the passion, and it's a shame. So, take it easy. Don't overdo it. I know I kind of look as if I'm always on the go and do a lot of weddings, but you've got to be self-aware with it and know what's sustainable for you and your lifestyle and your other commitments. I don't have kids to worry about, so I can work quite a lot. I've not been able to work quite a bit. I've not been able to put as many hours in recently because I've renovated a house, so I've had to think about that, so I've chilled it out a bit. But so to answer your question, thoughts on hiring an editor? No worries. If it's going to help you. So I'll let you into a little. I don't know if this is like an announcement or a secret or anything, but I have an editor who I have someone who I pay to cut my multicam sequences. Basically, I give them the footage after a wedding. They cut the multicams for me. This is in-house editor that I've trained up. So they'll cut the ceremony, the speeches, and they'll go through all the B-roll clips, and I call it prepping and edit, preparing and edit. So it's the multicam ceremony speeches, just cut and exported. They'll go through all the footage and pick out the 2-3 second clips, drop them into a timeline, and just lay it all out ready. And then I come in, get it off. So I pay someone to do that, and then I come in, take all the B-roll clips, build the film. That kind of preparation stage that I outsource, the ceremony speeches, the culling the footage, that saves me probably like anywhere 3 to 5 hours per wedding. It's half a day. That's a big deal, So yeah, nothing wrong with it as long as you're still producing quality and what you're giving back to the couple is still going to be up to standard and representative of your brand and etc. But if you're going to look for an editor, make sure you choose someone, make sure you audit them, make sure you look at their work, make sure you meet them in person, get a feel for them. Don't just farm it out to abroad. Right. I've been seeing a lot of people using stills in the films recently. It's something I really need to try out. Yeah, so the stills really does work if you do it the right way, and balance it with, like, don't use a still and then go into a shot that's like loads of movement. If you've got a clip where that's fairly calm and still, and then use a still image, it kind of marries up better than going from like a crazy dancing shot to a still, like, a bit jarring, but if used effectively, it's really nice. Currently cutting an upgrade to a 15-minute film. How much of the narrative and music directly do you take from the highlight user? Yeah, so that's a good question actually. Because what I do, I normally edit my feature films first. If they book both, I'll edit the feature film first and then put that down to the highlights. But tracks and footage that I use in the feature film, I'm always conscious that should end up in the highlights, or some of it. So in terms of just for consistency and continuity, I always try and use a track from the feature film as the highlight track. Not always, but a lot of the time. So vice versa, if I've done the highlights first and then they have a feature later on, I'll make sure all that footage from the highlights ends up in the feature, and I'll make sure that the track ends up in the feature as well. Just consistency, it's nice. don't suppose you have to do it, because if you like think of actual films as an example, not necessarily the song that's on the trailer that you see isn't necessarily going to be in the film. You know, like Hollywood films, you don't always see the same song in the trailer as you do in the film. But I think for weddings and stuff, it's nice to have that consistency. Currently, thanks. You're welcome, McDuke. No slow mo in Sony camera for 4K. Well, I know, but who knows? A7S III. Isn't there an announcement coming out soon for cameras for Sony's, like an A9 II or an A7 IV? The A7S III would be interesting to look at when it does eventually arrive, but I'm not holding my breath for it, because the A7S II does everything I need it to, and I'm not massively gear orientated in that respect. Thoughts on the YouTube Facebook wedding? Thoughts on live YouTube Facebook wedding? How do you mean, like FB wedding, Facebook? Yeah. I don't know if anyone follows PewDiePie or knows who PewDiePie is, but he got married the other week, and I only know about it because my friend shot his wedding. Well, just in case Toby is watching, I hope we're friends. But is the filmmaker that shot PewDiePie's weddings, Toby from Handcraft Pictures, who I've spent time with a couple of times, and he's a really, really nice guy. And so I made up for him that he did PewDiePie's wedding, and PewDiePie shared it, and it's had like 30 million views nearly at this point, and it's blown up Toby's Handcraft Pictures. So like his social media channels have gone berserk. He's booked loads of weddings off the back of that exposure. I think that's a really cool story. It's probably the most viewed wedding film of all time now, because PewDiePie shared it on his channel. It's had 30 million views near enough, and because of that, the videographer got loads of exposure, which is wicked, because it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. On that note, I need to go. So hopefully I've answered most of people's questions, and if there's anything I've missed, I will try to get back to them in the comments. This hour-long sort of chat has been recorded and will be up on the channel later if you did miss anything because of the connectivity issues. But thanks, guys, basically, for tuning in, as ever. Really appreciate you giving up your Wednesday night. I had loads of comments tonight. It's been brilliant. So cheers, guys. Thanks for your questions. I hope this was helpful. I will see you soon. I do this every month, so I'll be back next month with another live video Q&A thing. But in the meantime, if you need anything, just drop me a message on Insta. Is the best place to reach me. Next month I'm thinking about trying to get Howard on, as in Uncle Howard, as in Howard Wing, who does the Wing Wednesdays, the businessy type videos with me. So I'm hoping to get him on the live stream next time and answer loads of business questions. But until then, I'll see you soon. Happy shooting. Hope you have a good wedding weekend. I've only got one this weekend, and then I go off to Croatia to shoot another one next week. So I've got one this weekend, one in Croatia midweek, and then one. Actually, I don't know why I've not mentioned this before, actually, because I've got the Croatia wedding and the wedding that I'm doing after it are potentially I'm hoping they're going to be like two incredible portfolio website worthy films. So I'm excited about those, but more on that soon. And have a good weekend if you're out at weddings, and if you're not, enjoy the downtime and the chill out, and I will see you very soon. Thank you for tuning in. Love you. Bye.